left off from my kind of last vlog, and there have been a couple of clips that I filmed, but they all now just feel really out of date because, yeah, a lot of time has gone by. We are still currently in April on the day that I am filming this, so it's like not that much time, but I just feel like so much has happened, and I just feel like the past couple of weeks I've really just been trying to, well, I wouldn't say catch my breath, but there's just been a lot on. So I haven't actually, in the past couple of weeks, picked up my camera. So a lot of the clips I had very much were either from, like, I guess, middle of February, end of February. And that just feels like a little bit of a different lifetime ago, which is weird, but it does. So I think I just want to open up just talking about some books because it's still my love. My reading has definitely slowed down, and it's so interesting for me personally for this to be a thing because reading has always been that consistent in my life, and it still is, but I feel like other things have like kind of, you know, are vying for my time, and therefore like I just don't have as much capacity to read. I know like post-pandemic and during the pandemic, like my reading changed because a lot of the reading I did was commuting, so I was able to get through so many books, and actually reading at home wasn't something I did a lot. Like I honestly, like you know, spending an evening reading wasn't something I did very often, whereas now or in the past couple of years, that's kind of where my kind of reading has changed to. I don't do like that much commuting anymore, so I just don't get the chance to get through as many books. But let's talk about a couple of the ones that I am reading. I've been reading this for a while, so I'm not sure how long, but I'll put it up here. I'm tempted to DNF it. So I actually just heard about this book through Goodreads. There was a book that I was reading and it was like recommended to me based on that book. And I was really interested in this because it is talking about, it says it's a compelling new voice in New Zealand fiction. And I don't read any books from like that part of the world at all. And I think this is very much focusing on some of the indigenous people in the, I guess the land or the area, right? And again, something that I don't know a lot about. This very much feels like a coming of age novel, and in here we're following the main character who is a young boy. And it's just not for me. Some part of me wants to like persevere, but the other part of me is just like, oh, if you're enjoying it, like put it down. So I'm gonna give it a go again, just a little bit more time and see what happens. Because I started reading this and I picked up a different book, which I cannot remember for the life of me now what it was, but a different fiction book. And I sometimes do that when I find that I'm struggling with a particular book. I will just, if it's in the same category of, you know, fiction, I will just read another fiction book that's on my list and then come back to this to just see how I feel, because sometimes that is why I need to just persevere with the book. For example, the book Carla. Like when I first started reading Carla, I was like, I do not like this. I do not like it. I put it down and then it was like reserved at the library anyway, so I had to give it back. And then I got it back again and I just kept renewing it. And then when I eventually read it, I was like, this is actually so good. Like all the things that I disliked were just, it was just a bit of an unease. I didn't actually find I disliked anything about it. I just didn't find it very compelling. But all of that went away, and I just feel like sometimes you're not in that mindset to read a particular book, but it's obviously really hard to gauge that until you finish reading the book and you read the book. So Carla is my example for that. I really enjoyed Carla. It was so literary, but then had a bit of like a thriller bit to it, and it's kind of small town, you know, Irish vibes. It is really, really well written, and I'm so glad I persevered with it. So hopefully this will be the case with this one, but we never know. Poetry collection that I'm reading is Another Way to Split Water. When I was looking through my books and like what I was reading at the moment, I realised like I haven't been reading a lot of poetry. So I was like, let's see what's on my kind of poetry collection list, and let's see what's in the library. A lot of my poetry collections I always have to buy because the library doesn't have them. But it had this one, and I'm enjoying this so far. First, again, this was one I actually picked up maybe about a month ago, about 3 times, and started to try and get through it. I took it with me down when I went to London, and I was just a bit like, oh, I don't know, I can't get into this. Like, it's one of those where you read the first couple of pages again and again. It's not because I found the writing inaccessible or anything like that. I wasn't feeling it. But this time around, again, I've picked it up and I'm really, really enjoying it. I say really, 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 I'm enjoying it. It's sitting at a 3-star for me. I find her writing really compelling. I like the imagery of water running through all these books. I think the way that she talks about Islam and her family is really, really nice, and the way she talks about identity and belonging, very, very nice. Like, there's nothing I can actually fault in any of the poems. I think she, as a poet, like just all the different techniques she's using, absolutely beautiful. I think for me it is just like my lack of emotional tie to the book. It's not pulling on my heartstrings, and that's why I'm just like, okay, 3 stars, because I do like it. But you know, for a couple of poems I'm just like, but with a couple of poetry collections I'm like, wow, that speaks to my soul, 5 stars. So this isn't that, but I still think it's really, really enjoyable. And also the reason why I picked up that is because I'm pretty sure she now lives in Scotland. She's definitely a poet that comes up in a lot in the Scottish scene, so that's another reason why I was just like, I really want to read her work. A graphic novel I have is called Tomorrow's Kitchen. I saw this, someone posted it on their Instagram. It wasn't even like a book Instagram or something like that, and I was like, that sounds amazing. Only to come to find it like this publisher, Kitchen Press, is like based or started in Glasgow, so that's quite nice. And this is just really sweet. It's just talking about food and people's culture and how and how that, like, you know, kind of recipes are passed down. Or then it also has, see, Yrsa wants to eat the food, you see, but then it also has like illustrations for recipes themselves. This recipe in particular, this Cullen skink inspired kipper dumplings with cheese sauce. This whole time I thought the rest of the dish was called Cullen sink, and actually this is the second time that this came up for me, and like I think it was last week, because my friend had mentioned something about the place called Cullen, and I was like, I didn't realise Cullen was an actual place. Like, is that where the name of the dish Cullen sink comes from? And she said yes, but it's Cullen skink. And I was shocked. I was like, this, it's not something I would ever order because I don't eat fish, I don't eat seafood, but I was like, this whole, like, every time I've seen it on a menu, like, it has never even registered with me that it's got an extra K in it. And I said to her, my reasoning as well for thinking that it's like called Cullen sink is because I thought it was a dish where people just threw like a random stuff into it. It was just kind of like maybe the end of the week kind of dish, and you threw your stuff into it, so it was, you know, everything under the kitchen sink. I thought it was like in relation to that. My mind was blown. Like, I love it. I was like, I'm 33 and just learned something so new and my mind has been blown. So that's me. And then the final book that I'm reading is On Our Best Behaviour, The Price Women Pay to Be Good. I've spoken about this before, I think, when I was talking about the premise of the book. I'm not that far into it. I'm on page 43, and so far I am on, this is kind of doing a take on the 7 deadly sins in women. And so I'm on the chapter Sloth. So far I find it okay, but I know from some of the reviews that I've read that like this isn't very, like, it's all basically her thoughts, it's not very academic, and it's not like I was looking for something super academic, but I think the premise of this book sounds so good that I was looking for a bit more like research to back it up. Her thoughts are still valid and important. I find this very interesting. I find that she's super like apologetic for being like a white middle class woman in this book, and I'm just like, golly, sometimes it just be that way. But I get it, you know, writing, if you're going to be writing about like women and how they're suppressed and things like that, it's really hard to write about that when you are in a group that is actually far above a lot of women. So I do get it, but sometimes I'm reading it and I'm just like, please come down with that, like, relax. So that's what I'm reading at the moment. I am out of Spotify hours of audiobook. I was re-listening to the Magpie Murders, and the second one is called the Moonflower Murders or something, and they are very long books. They're like 500 pages long, so as an audiobook they're about 16 hours. So I ran out of hours, like it just stopped, and I was like, what? And this has happened to me once before, but maybe it was last year, and I just had never reached that cap again. I don't even know what the cap is. So I think I have like 9 days left until I'm out of audiobook jail, and I can't wait to finish listening to that. And then there's another audiobook I'm going to listen to because my friend recommended it to me, and then I've seen like another friend has finished reading it and rated it really highly as well. And I've actually never come across the book. The author, I believe, like I do believe I've come across her. But that's where we are in terms of books. Tonight I have my, is it our final? No, it's not our final dance practice. It's our penultimate dance practice before our debut, which is very nerve-wracking. I'm one of those people that when something is coming back, I just forget it exists, and now as it's getting closer and closer, I'm like, oh yeah, that's actually quite a nerve-wracking thing that I'm going to do. Like, I'm going to have to like dance in front of people, and yeah, when I'm filming myself, I feel like my arms look like spaghetti, so I'm just like, this will be interesting. But yeah, because I've now started this vlog, I'm gonna make the biggest effort to continue it. I do have a couple of clips which I hope I would have included before this, because sometimes I do remember when I'm out to take clips, but yeah. Hello guys. Oh my god, I know it's been forever since I have come on camera, and last week I went to the library, and got some more books, and of course the first thing I thought was my vlogs. Oh my god. I'm actually going to Greece next week, so I'm very much considering whether I make this a shorter vlog or also add Greece into that. We'll see, because I'm not actually planning on taking my camera. I'm just going to take my phone. So we'll see. I'll decide that later. I mean, it's less than a week until I go. I've not even packed or done anything. I only booked my accommodation like a couple of days ago, which is so unlike me. But it all worked out anyway. But yes, I wanted to talk about some books. Some big old hardbacks. I always think, people always say that people don't change, and I just don't believe that is true. I do believe like people change and people are capable of change. Let me tell you, like, if you go back to the beginning of my YouTube channel, you would never see these books. Like, I would never be reading these books. And I know I'm just talking about reading, but I think to change your reading taste is quite a big deal, you know? And it's all thanks to good old Agatha Christie. So yeah. At present, I am reading this book, so I am on page 243. I reckon I'll finish this tonight or tomorrow evening, which is fine because I'm going to go to the library on Friday and return it, and I think there's 1 or 2 more books that I need to pick up. This is a detective crime investigative book. This is called Murder at Gulls Nest. I think I heard about this through Goodreads. It was just maybe one of the recommended... It was maybe one of the books that like I had like put as I was reading. It was came underneath as one of the recommendations. And this is quite an interesting one because actually for a lot of like, I think detective like crime novels, so I don't mean like police procedurals and things like that, but kind of, yeah, you know, amateur sleuth ones. I wouldn't say they're badly written. If you think of how kind of literary fiction is written and then how that's written, that you can see there's an obvious like a gap, right? I feel like this bridges that gap. This author is a really, really good writer. She's very descriptive of the scene and setting, and actually as I was initially reading it, I was like, oh god, this is so descriptive. Like, this is not what I want from like my detective books at all. But the more I read of it, the more I was like kind of just intrigued by the plot, and I thought this is different, but that doesn't mean that the actual plot and the mystery won't be interesting. But it's a really like nice blend, and it's very unexpected for me, and it's what actually made me realise that, oh yeah, a lot of writers who write like detective stories like don't have like what she has. This is about an ex-nun called Nora Breen, and she has left like the order. I'm learning all of this from the book because one of her friends, Frida, who was also a nun, had left and was writing to her like every week, and then all of a sudden the letters stopped, and she knows that Frida would always write to her, so she knows something must have gone wrong. And you know from the opening page that something has gone wrong, right? So that is the mystery that we are following. Frida had gone to like a boarding house, so Nora leaves and goes to this boarding house to try and investigate. And it's just really kind of a nice amateur sleuth. Like, it's a very unexpected character to be an amateur sleuth, and I would say I'm loving this. I'm not disliking it. I'm invested enough, and I think, yeah, the writing really carries a lot of weight here, and I wouldn't say I particularly like any of the characters. There's not one character that I'm particularly drawn to, and I think I already know like who committed the murder. Very close after like one of the first murders was committed, I was like, I feel like there's only one person that could have done this, but we shall see. The other book that I picked up is this one. So this is What a Way to Go. So Bella Mackie was the author of How to Kill Your Family, which I found was just fun in terms of its twist. I think my old flatmate had a copy of it, so that's how I ended up reading it, and I thought that it was quite clever. I liked the twist and turn in that book, so I was just thinking, oh, I wonder if she's written anything else, and she has. So I've actually forgotten what this book is about, but the blurb here says Anthony is wealthy beyond imagination. He's got a fragrant wife, gaggle of photogenic children, a French chateau, Cotswold manor, blah blah blah, loads of mistresses. And it says, unfortunately for him, he's also dead. Suddenly poised to inherit his fortune, each member of the family falls under suspicion, and that's when everything comes crashing down. So family and murder and greed, very Agatha Christie. And then the other book I picked up is this, Orbital. I was in the queue for this for so long. Obviously this is the winner of the Man Booker, but not printed on this edition. I've actually read something by Samantha Harvey before. It's like her Year of Not Sleeping. I've read it twice because I really struggled with insomnia for many years of my life. Like, I feel like up until maybe 2 years ago, like, oh, it was awful. And I really want to in some way just bring together on my channel kind of like all the different practices I have and different things I've used to like help myself, because oh my god, I just feel like from where I was before, like I'm just like leaps and bounds away away from there, even though people keep trying to suck me back in there, and I'm just like, please. But yes, I have been exposed to her writing before. So when I remember when the short list or the long list was announced, and I saw like, you know, who was on it and like stuff like that, I was like, oh, I recognise her. So yeah, I put myself on the waiting list to read this. I don't know much about what it's about, to be honest. Okay, so fiction novel, 6 astronauts rotate in their spacecraft. Yeah, I mean, I will put all things in the description box so you can read blurbs of things as well. The final book that I picked up is How to Seal Your Own Fate. Now, this is published by the same publishing company that I work within. And so I've actually heard a lot about the kind of marketing campaign for this book and for the previous book. I've read the previous book and really enjoyed it. And I know I got it as like a kind of like, it's not a proof copy, but I definitely like got it for free and like I enjoyed it. And I didn't know there was going to be like a follow-up. And yeah, because I enjoyed it so much, I was like, oh, I'll pick it up. If I end up really liking the book, then I can just like buy it. I could have definitely bought the book through work, but I'm a library girlie, like, you know, I like to use my local library. All I know is this is kind of a follow-up in the sense that the main character, what's her name? Oh my god. Annie, is now living in like the home of her aunt, who is Frances. And I'm guessing there's another kind of murder that's going to happen. Yes, precisely that. So we'll be following her solve another murder. So yeah, we're very heavy on the kind of like detective stories, but I'm just so here for it. In April, I really struggled to read a lot of books. First of all, Spotify hates me because I've been re-listening to the Moonflower Murders, and those books are like about 16 hours long, and you only get what, 15 hours free audiobooks. But that's also the exciting thing is the third book in that series, I didn't actually realise that it was coming out this year, is out. So I am on the waiting list for that, but that will probably be something I get back when I'm back from holiday. I really want to read it first, and then I will also listen to the audiobook much later in the year. But I just happened to start rereading or listening to the audiobooks when I was like, oh, let me check to see if there's a third installment out, and it is, so at least like I've refreshed my memory at a really good time. But yeah, I was saying I really struggled to read a lot through the month of April. I think it was just a busy month, and yeah, like I just wasn't really gravitating to like books that I really liked, and some books I felt were just taking their toll on me. So that's why, again, I love like this kind of genre, because I find it so easy to get into. I don't find the books a slog or anything like that, so that's why I've primarily chosen to like do books like this. So yeah, but I'm going to be away on holiday, so I'll probably take 1 or 2 of these books in my bag, but then the rest I'm going to have to be like a Kindle girly. I'll be away for like 8 days, I believe, so yeah, I don't want to be carrying all these hardbacks with me and whatnot. But what I do want to share, and I'm going to have to figure out how I do it whilst I'm editing, is a lot of my time has been taken out by dance, and I did my first dance performance about 3 weeks ago, and since then I've done 2 more, so 3 in total. Going to Greece, we'll be doing a performance there. We were meant to be competing, but that's not happening anymore. And yeah, so it's just been a really exciting and fun time, and loads of things have been going on, and I've really felt like I've not had any time for like myself, but it's all been like loads of exciting fun things, and then just yeah, some not so great personal things, but not the end of the world kind of things. It was also my birthday, so maybe I don't have any clips or anything like that, but maybe I'll share some pictures, because I did a sound bath for my birthday, which is something that I just, you know, I just really wanted to do. Like, I love sound baths so much, and just something that I wanted to share with the people around me. But I also wanted to share this. This is a painting that my friend gave me for my birthday of my cat. I'm honestly so touched. Like, I received like loads of wonderful gifts, and just like feel really, really like blessed for all the friends that I have and the people that I have around me on my birthday. And it was a really great birthday, apart from the evening where I mean, it could have happened on any other day. I am the one that brought it forth, but I'm just like, of all days. So strong lessons going into 34, but I am astounded and so touched by this. And I just like, in the run up to my birthday, like I just felt so surrounded by so much love, and like a life that I've built for myself, that I'm just like, but yeah, that's such a wonderful, beautiful gift. Yeah, so yeah, I've had a birthday, and it's like really funny because like, now that it's out of the way, I feel like I can just like get on with the rest of my life. In that way that I feel like maybe like 2 months before your birthday, you're like, oh crap, my birthday's coming up, you know? And it's not even about like having to do something kind of extraordinary for it, but sometimes you're just like, oh, it makes you think about a lot of things. But yeah, it's out of the way. There are a couple of things that I want to focus on, and dance is calming down now for the summer.
you.